Welcome to the Gag Is podcast with me, your host, Charlie Shantae, where I share the roller coaster of my life, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. After becoming a teen mom at 14 and a widow by the age of 21, it's a journey filled with tears and laughter, reminding you that even in the toughest moments, there's hope. The gag is life may be unpredictable, but it's always worth living.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Gag Is podcast. I am your girl Charlie Shantae. Thank you for tapping in with me for another week. Off jump, let me just go ahead and say, excuse my voice. When I tell y'all these allergies been having me in a chokehold, I'm much better today. But if my voice sounds real deep and all of that, please excuse me. Just work with your girl, okay? Just work with me. I was in Atlanta over the weekend and I was in an area where it was outside for a venue and it was dust and Claritin was like, sis, I'm not even finna try to work with you. Okay. You just gonna have to take whatever come. And then at my hotel, I was on a super high floor and I think I got a little bit of altitude sickness with that. So my apologies that I sound a hot mess. Now, today, I hope y'all are doing well. So come on in, sit down, grab your treats, and let's jump into today because it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. This one, I like this topic because I've been on both sides of this coin. So I can fairly talk about both sides of this coin. But just remember everything that I'm talking about, my experience, my point of view. You may not have had this point of view. You may not have had this experience. And if you haven't, then okay. Tell me about your experience then in the comments or, on that Instagram page that you should be following, at the Gag Is Pod or, following me, Charlie Shantae, Smart Fit _Okie on Instagram as well, or, on YouTube at the Gag Is Pod, shameless plug. But let me take a little sippy sip because it is a good day. But I ain't gonna waste y'all time. I ain't gonna hold y'all up. Y'all say take your time, Pastor. No, not today. We gonna move this right along. So, teacher appreciation. Oh my gosh. When I tell you I loved teaching and like I accidentally fell into teaching. So when I moved to Florida, I wasn't working. I had been a stay-at-home mom for 5 years with New Face. And if y'all hear me say B Rad, it, it's a long story. So New Face B Rad is the same person. But when I moved to Florida, I wasn't working. So I was like, okay, I'll try substitute teaching just for something to do, just to get out the house, just to go be social with other people because I've been in the house for 5 years. New Face has gone to school now, but I stayed out just because I know how sickly he is. Well, I did not think that I was going to fall in love with it. And at the time, I was doing undergrad. So I was like, okay, this works. So, like, I can go to school, I can make a little bit of money and, have a little bit of fun with this. Did not think that I was going to fall in love with and enjoy it. So, I ended up teaching for 5 years. And I feel like the age group that I taught, I used to tell people, oh, yeah, I teach middle school. They're like, oh my God, like you teach, like that is the worst group. And I'm like, no, it's not. I'm like, them is the best. Like that is some of the funnest kids age group that you could ever work with. I enjoyed it and I worked with a very unique population. I worked at a school that was known as the worst middle school in the area. And I was like, all right, I'm always up for a challenge. But once I got in there and I started getting to know those kids and those kids started to get to know me, man, man, oh man, when I tell you them is some of the sweetest kids ever. They just, what is in my eye trying to take me out? See, I told y'all. Them is some of the sweetest kids that you will ever meet. They just want somebody to sit down and listen to them and, you know, If you do that, then you really don't have no problems. Kids, as an adult figure, kids, should always listen to adults and authorities, for the better, as long as they're putting out the right information to them. But kids like to be told that they're doing good and they're on the good foot and things like that. They don't always want to be talked to when it's bad. So let me tell y'all, new face. I was teaching when New Face was he started kindergarten, and so I didn't transition out of teaching until I think he was finishing elementary. So all during middle school, I've worked somewhere else. So now, like during his elementary years, I was a teacher. So I was like, okay, this is a nice balance. But when he got to middle school, I got to become the teacher. I mean, the parent. So every tip, every trick that he was going to try, I was already 1,000 steps ahead of my boy. 1,000 steps ahead of my boy. So I'm like, every time he try to come in here and be like, the teacher ain't did this, teacher ain't did that. Okay, my boy, been there, done that, heard it all, come up with something more different, something more original. But now that I'm on the parent side, I see why y'all parents was sending us hate mail. Cause well, not me per se, because I was a good teacher. Like I didn't get hate mail like that. I got hate mail because I was taking kids' cell phones and stuff like that. I didn't get hate mail because I wasn't teaching and putting grades in the grade book. That wasn't me. But being on this side is a little bit different. Now I've been on this side with Marco Polo. But with Marco Polo, I never really had to go like to the school or anything like that because he was pretty self sufficient, did what he had to do. It was one time I had to go to the school, and apparently there was a fight. Marco Polo wasn't involved. There was a fight. Marco Polo was looking at the fight or something like that. When there's a fight, kids gonna look. This is what kids are gonna do. So he was looking and they tried to suspend him for that. And I was like, see now, I'm gonna have to go up here. So I'll go up there and the lady, she's like, this is my first week. Oh, this your first week. So you just coming in here, you just think because a kid was doing like you don't even have all the as a matter of fact, I think it was like her first 3 days or something like that. So like you don't even have all the facts. So but you're trying to suspend the child. I'm like, was he involved in the fight? She's like, no, he was looking. Okay, probably with hundreds of other students. So are you suspending all them hundreds of other students? No, he was one of the ones that they were able to identify. So just because he was identifiable, that means you should suspend him. So after we got to talking and I got to rapping with her and telling her what it was and what it ain't, I bet you that suspension came off. Because ma'am, like do justice. Like you don't just get to categorize everybody in the same category. Now I will say there may be some references in here to skin color. So some of y'all might get a little triggered. But again, this is my experience and I'm telling it from my perspective. Okay. So, of course, my child is black and we have a white administrator. And I'm like, you know, there was other people there and you just chose to suspend the black kids not the white kids. That's not fair. And I guess I left a lasting impact on this lady life because at the school I worked at, the one of the ladies that I worked with knew her. And I guess she had been telling this story about how this parent had came to the school and went off on her, cussed her out with no cuss words, and how she was just baffled and taken aback. And then I had to tell the lady that I work, I was like, she talking about me. And I was like, well, so, and she's like, are you serious? I said, yeah. And I said, let me tell you a couple of details to verify that I'm the same person she's talking about. And I did that. And funny enough, the lady is still a principal and she's a principal at one of the schools that's in my area. And I'm like, the petty me almost wants to go and enroll New Face in that school so she could see my face again. Cause that lady always remember me. Always. Cause when with you as an administrator, when you right, you're right, but when you wrong, you wrong. I'ma call the bluff on that. Now, that brings me to the first little discussion: teacher parent support. Teachers and parents should get along. That's what we got, like the PTSA and all of that kind of stuff. Or I think it's becoming a time where instead of working with each other, we're working against each other. I have had to go to New Faces School so many times this year alone. They should have gave me my own parking spot because I've been there so much. Like I walk in the door and they're like, "How you doing, Miss?" And I'm like, "I'm fine." Like, what's good? Like I go to events and stuff, and the principal comes up to me. He's like, "How you doing today, Miss?" I'm like, "I'm good. I'm Gucci." Like, "How you doing, sir?" "Oh, good, good, good." Is a new face. He's doing amazing. You know, anytime you need, I know. So I know your phone number. I know your email. I know where to find you at. Don't you worry. And so my question is, what will it take for parents and teachers to get along for the better of the good? Because I remember when I was in school, the teachers always communicated, they advocated, they kept in contact with the parents. They'd be like, they'll call my mama, be like, Charlotte not up here doing what she's supposed to do. Can you kind of help me out a little bit? And boom, just like that. Now I remember there was a time I called a parent because in school now we have a no cell phone policy, or in my classroom, my policy was if you wanted to use your cell phone, you had to make sure your work was done first. And I called a student texting in class and I'm like, bring me your phone, put it up here. We're going to call your mom, let her know. And I called the mom and the mom was like, what are you calling me for? She was like, you don't pay my child phone bill, so give her phone back because you don't pay no bills around here. Don't be calling me, disturbing me, while I'm at home. First of all, I'm trying to help your child out so that your child can learn. So I gave that child they phone back, and then come the end of the semester, the same mama was on my line. Is there anything that my child can do to kind of bring her grade up? Or, is there any like makeup packet or extra credit packet that she can do just to kind of bring her grade up a little bit? Oh no, baby, she finna eat this grade. You can't call me 3 days before school finna get out and ask is there any extra credit, because I am logging in these grades and I am submitting them for report cards. But when I was trying to tell you, that I need your cooperation with your child, you didn't want to hear me because I was disturbing you. I don't pay your daughter phone bill and I was bothering you. So 3 days before school's out, ma'am, I can't help you. I can't help you. When I was trying to help you 12 weeks ago, you didn't want me help. 3 days before, now you want me help? I can't help you. I can't do anything. So, I hope that she takes summer school serious. I don't I don't know what to tell you. I had some parents, they have my number and they be like, text me if little Johnny Appleseed gets to acting up. And I could text that parent and be like, Johnny Appleseed acting up today. And then the next time Johnny Appleseed was in my classroom, I didn't have no problems with little Johnny Appleseed. Me, I'm one of those parents. If New Face get to acting up, call me, text me, email me. If you need on the spot correction, call me. I got you. Like, I'm that involved as a parent. Don't never hesitate. If you see that whatever my child is doing is hindering, like, I don't expect you to call me every time Lorenzo put his head on the desk and I didn't ask you. Don't call me for little stuff like that. But if it's something serious, hey, we're to Friday and Lorenzo has only turned in 4 assignments, tell me that so that I know. Granted, they always default us and say, well, do you check your child's grades regularly? Okay, yeah, I do. But me checking my child's grade is only as good as you putting them in. So if you don't put in the grades, how am I, as the parent, supposed to keep up with that? That's why it's important for the parents and the teachers to communicate. I try my hardest not to disturb my child teacher unless I have questions. For example, last week I noticed that there was a math assignment that he had done, but it had an excused grade. And I was like, why would she excuse this grade? I sent her a nice little email. I was like, hey ma'am, I was like, New Face submitted this assignment, but I showed that you have it as excused. Just wanted to know why it was excused. She wrote me back. She was like, thank you so much. My apologies. She said he was not here that day. I excused the assignment until he took it, but I wasn't aware that he had taken it. But I'll go back and I'll make that correction. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Just as simple as that. On the flip side of the coin, I had a teacher tell me, your child is in eighth grade and your child should not be being babied. And if your child needs all these accommodations, like you say your child needs, you might need to get with guidance at. And I'm like, you mean the accommodations that's already set out within this legal educational document? You mean those? So we have some teachers who just don't give a fuck. And that's their prerogative. But if that's your stance on it, you shouldn't be teaching, because I feel like you in a classroom holding a spot. Granted, we need teachers, so I'm thankful, very thankful for every teacher that is in there. However, don't be holding. I'd rather my child have a sub and do worksheets than to have a teacher in the classroom who don't care and don't put in forth the effort. They just showing up every day to get a check. Because being in the classroom and you don't care, you're not doing the kids no favor. You probably hindering them more than you are helping them. And so once I wrote back, I'm like, my child has done the work. I just need you to grade it. So I'm grateful. So instead of him going and grading all the work, he just went and excused all the work and just made it not count. And I'm like, that's not what I wanted, because what are you teaching? So pretty much you're saying, I'm not going to take the time to grade these assignments for accuracy. I'm just going to excuse them. So I'm just going to overlook them. How is that helping the child? Yes, it helps his grade, but if he did work and it's wrong, how he going to know if you didn't take the time to grade it? Like, I've met so many teachers that contract. If everybody in whatever profession always did whatever was in their contract, a lot of things and a lot of people would be in bad situations right now. Because as teachers, I have this teacher that goes, I work from this hour to this hour. I don't do nights. I don't do weekends. I don't grade on the weekends. I don't do this. I don't do that. Okay, that's fine. That's fair. That's understandable. However, don't go into another industry and go, well, I know this is your policy, but, because don't ask somebody to do something that you're not willing to do. This year, had to write 2 civil complaints on a teacher for violation of student rights. Okay, I'm one of those parents. Because if you're treating my child like that, you're probably treating somebody else's child like that. And that parent and that child don't know how to advocate for themselves. So you're going to get big me, the one that take the time to read handbooks, the one that take time to read student statutes, the one that takes the time to read the Florida education bylaws, rules, and regulations. Because when I send an email, I'm gonna quote some shit in there. And I'm gonna put the statute in there. Ask my homegirl, ask my best friend. Any email that I write, I send it to her, and then she always texts me. She'd be like, "Well, all right then, yeah, that big step about mine." Marco Polo in college, and I done had to step to them, cause I'm like, hold on, wait a minute, what you doing? That's pursuant to. All you got to do is read your statutes and go to them. You can't go against the statute, because that's a violation. And the last thing a school want is they money played with. You play with me, I'm gonna start playing with your money. Your money finna be funny. A bar, a bar, a bar. And so that brings me to my next point. Um, Communicating with parents and teachers. Like I said, I use the example of contacting his math teacher. Communications with teachers don't always have to be bad. They don't always have to be negative. I had one child who was struggling. And I started talking to the mom, I started talking to the student, and he was like, every time I do something good, can you call my mom? Every time I get a good grade on something, can you call my mom and tell her that I'm doing good? And I'm like, yes, I can. And th- this is so sad because the child unfortunately was killed a couple years ago, but he was the sweetest, and he had an issue with reading. So we made little challenges to kind of get him to his benchmarks and stuff like that. And at the end of the week, if he did good and he made it through his assignments without a meltdown or without getting upset or anything, he could get candy, and then we could have outside time. I would call his mom and be like, he did so amazing this week. Like, he's done really good. Because that one phone call can make or break a student. And how do you know? You never know what's going on in a student's home. So that one phone call may have crazily saved a child from some type of abuse at home or anything like that. So I always make sure that as a parent, as a teacher, I communicate it. And now that I'm on the flip side, as a back on the flip side as being a parent, I appreciate the communications as well. Now, new face getting ready to go into high school. I'm not sure how this finna go, but I know that I'm gonna have to set the precedents whenever we go to meet the teacher night. All right. I'm drinking coffee, y'all, and we don't got no sugar at home. So this coffee don't have no sugar. So if you see my face, it's because my coffee doesn't have any sugar in it. And I did a grocery order yesterday and I didn't get any sugar. So I need my coffee though, so I gonna work through this. So teacher pay. Teacher pay has been a hot button topic everywhere, especially here in Florida. And it came out this week that Florida ranks 50th in teacher pay. That is a damn shame. And I don't know what we can do to fix it. Like what we've done in the county I live in. Like a few years ago, they asked for like a penny increase on property taxes, and we did it, and they tricked off the money. And so again in November, they asking for another penny. You're not finna get another penny of mine to go trick off on some stupid investments, or you trying to look out for people that you're not finna do that with my money. If you asking for a penny, but you cannot guarantee that, because like as a matter of fact, this is gonna be y'all third penny y'all done asked for in the last like 6 years, because the first penny was for like improvements and stuff on the schools. Got it. The second penny was for teacher pay. Gave it to y'all, and y'all did not raise the teacher pay at all. I almost wish like a forensic accountant would come through and take a look at their books, because I'm pretty sure it's some money moving faster than Usher's mountains. Okay, we're not finna give y'all another penny to go trick off. Y'all having to buy people out their contracts and stuff because they not aligning with the foolery that you got going on. We're not finna give y'all another penny. So unless you can say, if we give you another penny, 1000% can say 100% of that penny sales tax is going to go strictly to teacher pay. I'm not doing it. I'm not signing up for that. We're the seventh largest school district in the United States, and we are poor. We are poor. We don't have teachers, and they do this thing every year. They'll say at the beginning of the school year, we are down 500 teachers. They do their 21-day count, and then they let another 200 go. Well, what? What kind of math is that? Like, there's state regulations that say like one teacher to 25 kids. Why are y'all putting like 30, with the exception of electives? Why are y'all putting 30, 35 kids in these elective class for one teacher? But y'all don't want to pay them. And y'all wonder why they quitting. I quit. I quit for a different reason, but come on now, like we gotta pay the teachers. Like I'm all for paying teachers. Like teachers make, when they were doing it out, they said teachers make about minimum wage, a little bit over. But that is like so sad. Like poor wages, they gotta work for 10 years to get student loan repayment. So like you have people who all their life all they wanted to do was be a teacher. That's all they wanted to do. But they've, like, so many politics have taken the fun out of teaching. Like you got all the kids know how to do is test. Like they're not really learning that, they learn how to test. Education is supposed to be kind of fun. Like they're learning. If you've already sent out the benchmarks. So if you're already telling me what I need to teach, why are you telling me how to teach it? Because we have a new generation. So sitting in a classroom with a book and a PowerPoint is not, it's not the same as back in the day. We have technology now. In my class, what we did was, if the kids took their notes and they worked silently for 10 minutes, we would listen to music. After that, every Friday, if they've done good all week, if they've gotten at least 3 stars for the week, on Fridays, depending on what our benchmark was, they could either get outside time or they could get snacks on Friday. The morale was so high. So high, because it's the little things. It's People say, well, you shouldn't have to give kids something to work toward. You go to work every day and work toward a paycheck, don't you? So what's the difference? Same thing. They're kids. They want to be engaged. They don't want to be sat down like little robots and said, okay, today we're going to turn to page 10. This is what we're going to do on page 11. Answer the questions pertaining to the information on page 10. They don't want to do that. They want to be engaged. You got to keep them focused. You got to keep them engaged. There's so many tools like on YouTube, like songs and rhymes that help the kids out and different stuff like that. There's so much out there that you can do for the kids. Do I miss teaching? Absolutely. But I love my job that I have now, which still involves a little bit of teaching, but just on a higher level. So I love the field of education. I think it's a beautiful field, and there are so many beautiful people that are in the field that pour it into kids. And I just think over time that they just get drained. Like the crew that I like, all of my teacher friends are phenomenal. Like love every single one of them. They are phenomenal. Like I could call them, or I text them, call them. I'm like, hey, like Lorenzo needs help with this, and um, you know, can you help me? And they be more than happy to help, because there's just some great people out there. But I just think a political school system has driven some of our good teachers away. Well, here anyway. I know there's better school districts throughout the United States. However, I just think here in Florida, so many great teachers have been run away by so many politics and low pay and different things like that. And I just, like, if I just had that in my control, like on a higher scale, I pay these teachers what they worth, because they invaluable. They're teaching our next generation. They are teaching our future leaders. Like I want my future leader to know about history, but I also want them to be able to teach me a dance too, social media dance. But you know just like I hold teachers accountable, I hold parents responsible as well, because you're a teacher sees your child 5 days a week. So they see them for 250 minutes a week, right? 250 minutes per class a week. I think, okay, my math might be bad, but something like that. But no, that can't be right. See, 250 minutes, whatever. We work that math out. But would they only see your child for a small snapshot? We as parents, now let's flip the coin. We as parents cannot solely rely on teachers. Okay. At home, we got to put in the work. both of my boys have libraries in their rooms with books. And one thing that Marco Polo has done for New Face takes algebra. Marco Polo gave New Face his algebra book, and come to find out that algebra book has more explanations and does a way better job of explaining than New Face's current book. So it helps out. So we keep little books like that around to help you as a parent. We all work. We all get the same 24 hours. There, when I come home from work, I go to work early. When I come home from work, I be want to go lay down and take a nap. But my first priority is to make sure that my child's homework is done and that I am available to him if he needs any help. And I'm not bashing no parents or nothing like that, but a lot of y'all sitting at the crib doing nothing, and y'all need to be helping y'all child. Like, my child got a library card, so he said sometimes he says he doesn't want to do his homework at home. Can he go to the library 10 minutes down the road? He said it's more quieter there. I get it. I take him to the library. But as parents, we have to step up and help these teachers, because if not, it's like a one-sided thing, and you can't do nothing one-sided. But the minute that your child is falling behind or do something, you want to be quick to blame the teacher. You don't want to take accountability for yourself. So as parents, we got to take accountability for our child. They have tutoring services. They have every service you could think of out there for you to help with your child. Now, when teachers fuck up, what should we do? And I feel like we're in a state that we're in such a teacher shortage that when a teacher messes up, they get slaps on the wrist. I've seen it firsthand. And then I've also seen when teachers' personal lives have come into the classroom, and it messes things up too. So, parents, this is my note to you. If you have a teacher who is not doing what they're supposed to do, not what you want them to do, what they're supposed to do, let somebody know. Because again, as I previously stated, if something is happening with your child, something is happening with somebody else's child, and their parent or parents, guardians may not know how to advocate. They may not know what steps to take. They may not know who they need to go to. Me, I'm gonna be on the county website looking, because guess what? If I contact somebody and it's not the right department, they're gonna tell me who I need to go to. They're gonna tell me who I need to go to, who I need to talk, who I need to email. And like I always say, everybody got a boss. If you go to this person and they don't help you, next person. Because eventually you're gonna get so high up that they're gonna start asking these people down here why X, Y, and Z wasn't done. And something gonna happen. And then boom, you go from there. You have to advocate, just like how people advocate for all this other foolery out here in the world. You gotta advocate for your child. I'm gonna advocate. I'm gonna ride for mine through and through. And when my grandbaby start going to school, to Mimi, they did what? Okay, Mimi got you. Mimi coming. All right, so we've come to my favorite segment of the show. You can't make this up. Now, one of the things that I truly hate and truly don't like is lockdown drills. I despise these, because I can't remember who said it, but somebody said we do all these lockdown drills, and we just showing the shooter or the intruder what we do when we lock down, because 9 times out of 10 the intruder is somebody in the school. Anyway, it's neither here nor there. So we were doing a lockdown drill, and we were in the class, and my class knew what to do. So I'm looking around and I'm like, okay, I got it. Where's I look around, y'all. No lie. No lie. The student was in the recycle bin. I can't make this up. And I looked at him. I said, what are you doing in the recycle bin? Because it's a lockdown drill, so we can't talk. What are you doing in the recycle bin? Miss, I'm hiding. It's a lockdown drill. We're supposed to hide. Yes. I was like, get out. Get out the recycle bin. Get over there against the wall. Because he's like, but miss, get boy, get your ass out there recycle bin. Okay, miss. Get over there against the wall with everybody else. Be quiet. I miss my babies. I'm like, what would make you think to hide in a recycle bin? He was like, because you told me to hide. But I'm like, half your body is, all your body is sticking out the recycle bin. Like, what? Okay. Okay. You, good job, y'all. Y'all want some snacks? I know today is Tuesday, but y'all getting snacks today because lockdown drill, y'all did good. We finna get snacks today. Thank y'all for y'all participation. Okay. All right. And to wrap this thing on up, we always do a lyric song of the week. And so since school is getting ready to be over in a couple weeks, probably yeah, in a couple weeks or whatever. Congratulations to all the graduates of 2024. I got two in my household. Marco Polo is graduating. So gotta go to New York and see his graduation. I'm super excited about that. And then New Face is graduating middle school or getting promoted from middle school. I don't know if y'all do graduation promotions from 8th grade where y'all live, but he graduating too, and it's in the same week, y'all. So I'm finna be tired. But luckily, Florida, New York, it's in the same time zone, but just a little jet lag or whatever. All right. So my song lyric of the week is going to be "Graduation" by Vitamin C. Teachers, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for putting up with the baby's kids, and special shout out to New Faces teachers, because woo, Jesus, y'all got a task on y'all hand. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I'm gonna keep applying that pressure. Parents, keep applying that pressure to them teachers if they ain't doing what you need them to do. Teachers, keep applying that pressure to them parents, so that they can get more involved in the kids' lives, in their education. All right, so "Graduation" by Vitamin C is my song lyric of the week. As always, if you are not following me already, check me out at the Gag is Pod on Instagram. You can follow my personal page, Smart Fit underscore Okie, and it says Charlie Shantae on it. Make sure you are dialed into YouTube as well at the Gag is Pod. All of the links can be found down in the description box. And as always, I am your girl, Charlie Shantae. This is the Gag is Podcast, and I'll see y'all next week. Bye, guys.